What's up, YouTube? This is Mr. Vib Nathaniel 113 here again today, bringing you yet another super spectacular, fudge-coated, awesome, super mega video. This time of me doing an unboxing video for a line of toys that I don't think I've ever actually showed any real interest in any of my past videos, that being something related to Super Sentai / Power Rangers. Now, I've done unboxing videos of other toys on my channel in the past, specifically Saban-owned toys such as Digimon. But I don't think I ever really did anything relating to Power Rangers, really, even in my past videos. But I am a massive Power Rangers fan. I have been ever since, I think, like 2003, 2004, when Dino Thunder originally had premiered. That was the first season of Power Rangers I ever actually had started watching. And there's just a really big charm to the Power Rangers brand that I've always enjoyed. Just something about, like, really compelling characters and mixed martial arts with really neat storylines. You know, stuff that happened in the later seasons of Power Rangers that didn't really exist so much in the earlier seasons, but that was the kind of stuff that I really enjoyed. Simple characters that were very much like real people, but with like mixed powers and the ability to transform into superheroes with really just colorful looking suits and designs. And the fact that they had expanded into like various teams every single year and made up their own little armies of different types of teams, that just it made it all so cool. I loved the toys, I loved the action, I loved everything about it, really. It was just really cool to watch. And a lot of people ended up growing up to like Power Rangers in the same way as well. Now, the Super Sentai stuff, which is basically what I'm going to be focusing on this video, both because it's the 40th anniversary of Super Sentai, so I thought that I'd make an anniversary video to celebrate that, but also because I found some more really cool items to a particular toy line that I thought I'd show with you guys that I really enjoy. So, Kaizoku Sentai Gokaiger, which is the 2011 Super Sentai team, was the 35th anniversary of Super Sentai, and what it embodied was basically the same thing that Super Mega Force did, but million times better, I swear. Because of the massive anniversary peak, celebrating 35 years, they decided to incorporate that into that year's gimmick, which gave us something interesting and new that we hadn't actually gotten from Super Sentai before. That being that its show was entirely pirate-themed. The changer itself was more pirate-themed, had a little crossbone that flipped out when you inserted like your Ranger key, which was, in this case, little keys. And what they used was little key figurines right here on the show, and they would use these in order to change into the various past Super Sentai teams. Now, if you couldn't guess already, yes, basically they made a Super Sentai team that are essentially pirates. Like, legit pirates. We're talking about, like, pirates that are pirating other teams, essentially. But their personalities are very quaint. They're basically a bunch of anti-heroes who have good intentions. Not entirely at first, but they eventually develop some good tensions. But they're more interested in getting treasure, but only do they end up figuring out later that there's bigger things out there than just simple treasure. And they end up figuring out like what the Super Sentai team actually represents, and then they themselves become real Super Sentai heroes too. So it's basically the new merging with the old in such a very innovative way. And I think that that's really cool. It's probably the best Super Sentai season out there by far. That could just be me speaking from a bias, because it was the first Super Sentai season I watched and what got me interested in the series as a whole. But anyway, I could go off and on about Gokaiger as well as the toy line, but, I'm pretty sure I rambled on enough, and you guys probably aren't here for that. You guys probably just want to focus on the on the things that this video is about, which is the keys here. Now, I am going to go ahead and actually quickly talk about the distribution of these toys a little bit before I actually move into the video itself. So, in Japan, you had, I think, 4 different ways of actually getting the keys. You had these little things here, which were the candy toy line. And the candy toy line, as I'm sure you can tell, is just one little cardboard box that features one Ranger key. They had 2 different sets of these. They had the Legend set, which was the one that came after the original set, and they had the original set, which was consisting of 5 different sets of keys that you could either get separately instead of having to buy them with the toys that came with the keys, which I think was awesome. Also known as the deluxe sets, with this particular set of figures being the first legendary set for the candy toy line. Or you could get keys that were exclusive to these sets. Like, before the Legend set, you could get Clover King, which was a Jaka-themed Ranger Key, which was a Super Sentai season we never got in America. It was the second Super Sentai season to ever exist. Or you could get Tricera Ranger, which was the blue Mighty Morphin Ranger, Billy. And you could only get them from these sets. And previously, prior to the extended sets, which I'm going to talk about in a bit, the deluxe sets, that was the only way to get certain keys as well, like Oberate Black, aka Dino Thunder Black, aka Tommy. And then they released sets like this right here, which you can see in the back there. Originally, they just released like all Red Rangers, and they even had an SP set, which came with like the remaining Red Rangers minus the Kaku Ranger, which was Alien Red in America. But that was how they distributed it, only giving you Red Rangers for the most part until they started doing sets like this, which gave you an entire team. Unfortunately, there was distribution issues with these Ranger keys with these sets, but I'm going to get into that after when I go to my final thoughts. And then the other way that you could get keys, which is part of my issue with the distribution of the line, which I'll get into later, was the Gashapon figures. And if you guys don't know what Gashapon is, I'll put like a little image right here, on the video to show you what a Gashapon machine is. But it basically works in the same way that those little tattoo machines you'd see like in grocery stores and stuff work. So you would get like a little Ranger key at random. You wouldn't know what it would be, and that would be the toy that you would get. And the Gashapon figures for this line I particularly am not satisfied with, but I'm going to get into that after. So I'm going to go ahead and proceed to actually opening up these toys here for your guys' amusement. Now let's go ahead and start things off with this figure right here because I already tore it open slightly. I didn't actually open up the figure inside, I just opened up the box. But that's because I thought it would be one of these boxes you could reseal, and they're not, which is part of the reason I made this video in the first place, because I thought it would be fun to do this unboxing with you guys before I can't really reseal the figures. So again, they come in this nice little cardboard shiny box, nice quality box, with the back showing you all of the different keys that come in each of the individual sets. You have Shadow Ranger here, aka Doggy Kruger, or as he's known from Super Sentai, the Deca Master from Deca, what was it, Police Sentai Deca Ranger, I think. I don't remember, I know it's Deca Ranger, but so we're going to go ahead and pull them out. And there we have Deca Master. Let's go ahead and open him here. Make sure we don't actually cut the sticker. That would be bad. Let's get him out here. Okay. So you do have stickers that you are going to have to apply to the figures. But I assure you these stickers aren't that big of a deal, especially with what I'm going to talk about later. So here we have a Shadow Ranger, aka Deca Master. Not a bad figure by any stretch of the imagination. His helmet has a very nice sculpting detail to it for being a little miniature figure. He's got a really nice visor, got the SPD logo right there, the little marking that shows 100. In fact, if anything, I would actually argue that this detail is spectacular when you consider that most Ranger keys don't even get this amount of detail with the chest here. So that's pretty neat. Yeah, not an overall bad looking figure. Put him in key mode. Doesn't really do much because he doesn't have the sticker applied to him yet. But that's what the sticker would look like if it was actually applied to him. So, now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and move on to this one right here. Now this is Big One. He was the facto leader in Jaka, aka, like I said previously, the second Super Sentai Ranger team that existed in the show. He was also the first Ranger that came later, because originally there were 4 Rangers in Jaka, which I think was the only show to have a main set of 4 instead of 5 or 3. And then you had one additional Ranger that not only became the leader, but joined them and accompanied them later. So we're going to go ahead and gently open the top, because I don't want to ruin it. Come on. Aha, there we go. You can see he's number 5 in this set. Is he number 5? Yes, he's number 5. It says so right there. Oh, that's cool, and I forgot. Each of these little candy toys also come with like a little piece of candy too. I wouldn't eat that. Cause I'm pretty sure that's really, really old. So I might just keep that sealed. But yeah, got your little Ranger key there. Let's go ahead and unbox them. Did he come with a candy? Oh, he did. Yeah, he came with a candy too. That makes sense why they're called candy toys. I knew that they came with a piece of candy. I forgot, I guess. So it's my fault for forgetting to mention that. But here you have Big One. You know, you can insert your own little joke here if you want, based on the name. But yeah, he's got very simplistic detail. But for the detail that he has, he looks very weird. It's like trying to think of what it was. You know that one Wii game, like Captain Rainbow? This would be the legit Captain Rainbow. That's what he almost seems like, you know? He's got like the one on the forehead there to represent who he is. He doesn't have the little slits in the visor, but I feel like that would be asking a little too much for a little key, don't you think? Rainbow boots there. Focus in. That doesn't want to focus. You flip him up. That would be where his emblem would go. But obviously it's a sticker, so it wouldn't show the emblem just yet. Now we're going to go to Gokaiger Knight, aka Robo Knight. Same packaging as before, shows all of the Rangers in the back there. I'm going to want to gently open up the top, because I don't want to rip it. Come on. Woohoo! We did it! And he is number 4. And of course it has the... I just noticed that too. It has the Go Busters logo there, which I'll get into that as well. And again, just like before, he's got a piece of candy too, which I will not eat, obviously, because these toys are from like 2012. There's your Robo Knight / Gokaiger Knight key. Let's go ahead and get him open. Alright, and there's the Gokaiger Knight key. So his visor looks pretty good. The just straight up red visor. The visors are interesting, by the way, because usually Super Sentai teams don't typically tend to have any kind of visor aside from black. And the main reason being because, as far as I understand, it's a pain in the ass for actors to work in anything that isn't like black, because, or clear of some sort, because when they're color, they can't actually see through the visor very well, so they have to make up some sort of other visor, which doesn't really look very good on camera, in order to actually see through them good. So it's very rare to see any kind of Super Sentai team that uses a color visor. I think the only other time that happened was with Time Force, because Time Force, you know, had their visors tinted to the color of each Ranger, and that's the only time I think that they actually used colored visors aside from this. So just a little fun little piece of trivia there for you. He's got nice little chest details there. He's got his lion marking on his chest, which is neat, because usually when it comes to markings, they would mess him up and make him look not very distinguishable, like they did with Magi Shine, and he looked awful in key form. That's, let me see if I can actually grab the packaging over here. That's Magi Shine right there, aka, I forget what his name was in Mystic Force, actually. Solaris Knight. That's what his name was. And, yeah, his key just looks awful. But, anyway. And the same thing happened to a bunch of other teams, too. But, yeah, there's Gokaiger Knight. flip them up. Of course, that's where his logo would be, but again, you got stickers, so his logo's not actually going to show up, which we will be putting on later. That's weird. So these keys are from 2012, and you can tell that the thing is already starting to peel off, or the actual sticker itself is starting to corrode a bit, which is a shame. It kind of sucks, like, busting all these open like this, in all honesty, because resealing them is practically going to be non-existent. So now we have which one is this? Number 2. Here we go. Number 2, Go On Wings. And you guys might know this as the RPM Rangers, or RPM Gold and Silver. Well, in Japan, they were known as Go On Silver and Go On Gold because the team was called Gokaiger. And in Gokaiger, which they did this for Super Mega Force too, they had it to where they combined both silver and gold into one key because they're both basically one ranger. In both seasons, they work as one ranger and split up in two because they're so synchronized with each other, and they came at the same time, so it's hard to not count them, as the same. So they basically just put them into one key. What's cool though is that the Japanese version actually did give them that special key. We never got this key. The American toy line for Super Mega Force did not include this. And what sucks is that they redistributed this key about 3 times. I don't know why I'm telling you guys all this. I should be saving it for the end of the episode. We're going to open it here. Again, he's number 2. Go Busters logo. Open it up. And again, nice little piece of candy there. What even is that anyway? It looks like a mint. Like a mint or a cough drop or something like that. There's the Go On Gold, Go On Silver key, and it looks gorgeous. But we're going to get that out of there. There's the sticker. I'm actually amazed this looks as good as it does, because the Ranger keys in Japan usually tend to really mess up silver and gold paint. The gold on this doesn't look that good, but the silver, it looks gorgeous. Okay. Okay, so again, we got the stickers there. And now we have the key. So Go On Gold, Go On Silver. They actually did a really good job of merging both of the keys in one like this. Because it looks really cool, just design-wise. Because you got a nice little collage of 2 different colors there, from what is usually used for the 6 Ranger in multiple different Sentai teams. So it's just really cool. Got the combination of the helmets that are going on there. You got the Go On Wings logo there on the helmet. You got the seat buckles that go around their backs there. Silver, gold arm paint. What's interesting though is that even though it is silver and gold, the little holder for the metal pin is still all gold, which is weird. Flip it up. Obviously, it isn't going to have a logo, but that's the logo right there, which is just a nice gold and silver. So yeah, overall, neat little key. Nice detail. And to get to the last one in the lot, we have Red Buster from Go Busters, which is a Super Sentai team we never actually got over here. Don't actually know why. I think it was just because of Nickelodeon being really stingy and not allowing them to just straight up adapt a Sentai season with more than like 20 or 30 episodes. So that's why they keep doing all of these super seasons, because they're limited to doing such a short amount of episodes with each season. And if they continue to do what they did with essentially Megaforce and Super Megaforce, they would lack quality. And if they did what they did with Samurai, they would miss out on so many seasons as the series progressed. So I think what they're doing now is they're just skipping over every other team and they're just focusing primarily on the ones after, so they can catch up a little bit, which is a shame, really, because Go Busters, in my opinion, wasn't horrible. It wasn't the best, but I can understand at least why they skipped over this one, because this toy line really did put the Sentai team toy line, or really did hurt Bandai in terms of toy sales. Why am I using scissors? You see the number 1 logo there. He's the first key in this entire lot. Again, we're going to go ahead and open this up. Get that open. It was weird. Again, tearing these apart like this. Alright, so here we have the sticker and the key itself. We're going to go ahead and get this open. And here we have the key. So we have a nice little key of Red Buster here from Go Busters, and the detail isn't horrible. I feel like this is another one of those keys where it's like the detail is very minimal, but at the same time it's not that bad either. You got the nice little silver stripe in the center there, the backpack straps that go on their shoulders there. The helmet is absolutely amazing looking. You got the nice cheetah details there with the black outline around all the details, which is rare, because usually when it comes to the keys, let me think of an example here. Oh yeah, like here for example, with the Go On Red key, it lacks the red around the black outline around the stripes, but here they actually decide to put it in the helmet, and that actually is a very rare detail for them to add. So that's actually pretty cool. Again, you got the silver stripes going around the shoulders and the wrist there, which is pretty nice. The black pants with the red boots and the red visor going in with the cheetah motif. Flip them up into Ranger key mode. Again, he doesn't have a sticker because you have to apply it individually. And just like all the other keys, he has a piece of candy.
Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy.
So yeah, there you go. Okay, so now we're finally at the final part of the video where I give a final verdict on this particular line, give my thoughts on the toy line in general, and recommend whether to buy this or not. Well, for starters, the overall quality within the keys themselves aren't bad. Like I said, the details are very much what you would expect from any of the other Ranger keys, though I would think that the Ranger keys that come within these sets actually have a little bit better detail in comparison to the sets prior to that. Not to the same level of like the deluxe sets, you know, for example, but still pretty decent detail for what it's worth, and what you would expect from the overall keys here. Now, in terms of the distribution problem within this toy line that I was trying to talk about before, these do contribute to it, but they're not as bad as what I was going to get into before. So, the way that Bandai originally distributed the Ranger keys, like I had mentioned before, they released maybe like 1 or 2 team packs, and then for the most part they released all Red Rangers. I feel like the reason that they did this is because actually releasing full teams just seems a little unrealistic, and it would have been way too expensive. So they probably thought, okay, well then let's just give them, you know, keys individually that they could pick out, and for the most part have it all be Red Rangers. And for the most part, throughout the year, that's all you would get, with the occasional candy toy character from like a couple of teams, and you know, keys that would come in with various toys. Like, in order to get Dragon Ranger before the candy toy, you would have to get him with the Gokai Spear. And to get, like, one of the Go On Gold, you'd have to get him with, I can't remember the actual name for the mecha, but I'll put a picture of it here. And the candy toys helped that, but it still didn't help you get complete teams. Bandai would later end up correcting this by actually starting to release full team sets. They started off from Gokaiger to Shinkenger to Go-Onger and so forth. Geki Ranger, which was Jungle Fury, Bokenger, which was Overdrive, and downward. And it did work, but they stopped all the way at Gower Ranger, and I presume the reason why that was simply because by that point, Go Busters was almost already finished. Yeah, they were still releasing Ranger keys way past its expiration date. Can you blame them, though? That's exactly what the American keys did, too. We were already during a Super Dino Charge, I think, by the time that we were still getting Ranger keys. It was ridiculous. So, you know, you would assume that this would be all. This would be the only major issue, aside from doing stuff like this. No, because do you remember those Gashapon toys that I told you about, that I talked about earlier? Those are the other issue that I have with the distribution problem with this toy line. Now, the Gashapon figures had very minimal detail. They were very cheap. They come disassembled, and they were just overall very crappy. You know how you get full painted detail with these figures, and then you get like this for a sticker? Well, in the Gashapon figures, the chests were not painted. They had stickers. The helmets, for the most part, looked like they were hand sculpted, and the actual material that was used for the keys felt really cheap. That's to be expected, though, because they are Gashapon toys. The Gashapon toys are meant to feel really cheap. But it's really stupid because that meant that in order to get complete teams, you have to get a lot of really cheap keys that you don't want. And what's even more ridiculous is because these keys were uncommon, a lot of them go for a lot of prices now because they're so rare. Now, Bandai realized this, and they did eventually end up correcting this by releasing one of their premium sets, which did come with remaining keys that we didn't have before. Except it didn't actually finish out the line because we were still missing a lot of keys. It did complete several teams, like from Goggle 5 forward, but we were still missing a lot of keys, and those keys were the Gashapon toys reprinted. I think what happened was Bandai had a lot of overstock, and so what they decided to do was they decided to just go ahead and give us the Gashapon keys in one set. So you get a bunch of really cheap figures that aren't even painted, that come with stickers, for the price of like $200 or $300. You could buy a 360 or a PS3 with that money. You know? It's just really ridiculous. Or hell, even an Xbox One. Just to get a bunch of really cheap figurines that lack the same kind of quality as these. So that's the reason why you don't see a lot of people like having full collections of these. And for the ones that do, there's very few. Now, the Ranger keys that were made in America, people thought would actually correct this issue, but they didn't. They just basically repeated the same sort of formula in a different fashion. But at least we did get full retail keys in 3-packs as opposed to stupid cheap Gashapon figures, all with the same quality. So that's nice, but still. Now, in terms of this actual set itself, I think this is a set 4, and they have about 5 sets for the Legend, 5 sets for the normal. So, to get a complete set like this, it could potentially cost you, but it really depends. Some of these keys go for more than others. I got a complete set for about $35, I think, so it really wasn't that expensive, especially when you consider how much some of these keys individually go for. The Gosei Knight key by himself can go for as low as like $20. So, I would say, you know, do some searching around. Hopefully you guys will be able to find sets like this for yourselves, and I hope that you guys are able to experience the same sort of joy that I did with these keys. But again, that's entirely up to you if you actually like these or not. I would say that they're recommended, but only if you're like a major collector for Super Sentai / Power Rangers and you like these little figurines. So that's basically all I have to say in terms of the distribution, what I think of these keys, and overall just doing an unboxing for the candy toys. So yeah, that's basically all. Hope you guys really enjoyed the video. This has been Mr. Vid Nathaniel 113 here again today with another video, and I will see you guys later, gang. Take care.